Good evening, everyone. Today I'm going to teach you guys a little bit about organism interactions. There are a few things you need to know, and the first one is that there is a lot of competition. Competition occurs when two or more individuals seek to utilize the same resource. Siafu, or driver ants of Africa, outcompete and consume everything that crosses its path, even cows. Other ways of other sources of competition or things that compete are you and your siblings. You and your siblings sometimes compete against each other for your parents' attention, for example, or you guys compete for the last bag of chips. And these are all ways of survival in a sense. Of course, animals in the wild use it a little differently, but those are just some examples that you can relate to. Symbiosis is a close ecological relationship between the individuals of two or more species. Sometimes a symbiotic relationship benefits both species. Mutualism, commensalism, parasitism, cooperation. Bees and plants, for example, is a good example of symbiosis. The bees get the nectar from the flowers, and while they are doing that, they are getting pollen into their little bodies, and they carry that pollen around, and when they go to other flowers, they release that pollen, and therefore the flowers are able to get pollen and procreate that way, and bees get the nectar they need. Mutualism is an association between organisms of two different species in which each member benefits. Ants and the aphids provide honeydew for the ants. So in this example, in this case, for example, ants are getting aphids from the honeydew. Commensalism is a symbiotic relationship between two organisms of different species in which one drives some benefit while the other is unaffected. Pseudoscorpions, for example, hitch a ride on a fly's leg. That is an example of commensalism. They are just catching a ride, and so they are getting something out of it, but the fly isn't really getting anything out of it, but it's also not being hurt. Parasitism is a form of symbiosis in which one species benefits at the expense of another species. Similar to predation, but acts more slowly than predators and may not always kill the host. Parasitized caterpillars, for example, are covered with wasps and the pupae, which have consumed all internal tissue except the vital organs. Another example that I can think of off the top of my head is a fleas with animals, for example. A flea or a tick will suck up blood from the animals, and the animals are being hurt. They are not getting anything out of it, but the tick or the flea is able to survive off of that. Cooperation is the act of working or acting together. Ants and bees, for example, their colonies work together. And so cooperation is when both species cooperate so that they can both get something out of it, a benefit. Predator and prey. Predation describes an interaction where a predator species kills and eats other organisms known as prey. Sometimes predators themselves become the prey. Praying mantis captures grasshoppers. Anole captures and eats praying mantis. Predators and prey could be, for example, the eagle is a predator and a mouse that is going to its little home is the prey. Think about these examples. An anemone and a clownfish. What do you think they are? Do you think they are parasitism, commensalism, a deer, an elk, and a grass? What do you think? What kind of relationship do you think? I mean, is it a symbiotic, commensalism, mutualism? Dog and a tick. Oh, I gave you that example. Plant seeds and humans. Termites. Hawk and rabbit. Thank you for watching this video. We will continue talking about this tomorrow at school. Have a good rest of your evening.